Shalom, all praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. Bashem Rachak Wadash. My name is Jacob from Plaintables Camp. This is African states to feed hungry populations with elephant meat. So they're going to slaughter a few different animals, but elephant meat is one of the main ones. As Zimbabwean officials have announced that hundreds of elephants will be killed to feed the country's population, which is suffering from severe hunger. Authorities in neighboring Namibia have made similar decisions in response to famine threats posed by the prolonged droughts in southern African region. And I believe it's called El Nino affected. A Nino caused drought. So it says, he told Reuters Tuesday that around 200 wild elephants would be slaughtered across the country and their meat distributed to drought affected communities. So they're basically heathens. They don't have any concept of clean and unclean animals. So they're going to do that because of the famine. Well, it was a famine in Israel. And they said a donkey's head was sold for a certain amount. So you had Israelites eating unclean animals also. So you do have Israelites in all those countries. All right. So it says in February, the landlocked nation received 25,000 tons of humanitarian wheat from Russia as part of Moscow's pledge to help 6 food insecure African countries. All right. So they're getting some help, but this is the famines that the scriptures speak about. So when all those different, curses converge in high numbers, then we know that the end is near. We go to Mark 13:4. It says, "Tell us when all these things shall be, and what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled." And Yahushua answered them. Answering them began to say, "Take heed lest any man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Mashiach, and shall deceive many. And when ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, be ye not troubled, for such things must needs be, but the end is not yet." All right, so we have the different wars, actual rumors of wars and actual wars taking place right now. Namely, the main ones that it's on the news and goes in and out of the news is Russia, Ukraine, and the Khazar Israelis and Palestinian people. And for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. And there shall be famines and troubles. These are the beginning of sorrows. So you got famines 30:42 G. You got limas, which is scarcity of harvest, famines. So it doesn't even have to be like absolutely no food, but a scarcity. What does that mean? The state of being scarce and a short supply. Destitution. Be destitute. Poverty so extreme that one lacks means to provide for oneself. And it goes back to lipo or lipo. It's a root word. To forsake, leave behind, inferior. We're destitute, lack, fail, wanting. So that's what's happening now in those southern African countries. Famine. So Zimbabwe and Namibia will kill scores of elephants to feed peoples facing drought. This is Associated Press. Pretty much says the same thing. All right. It says the Namibian government last month approved the culling. I mean, it's like to reduce population. Of 723 animals, including 83 elephants, 30 hippos, 60 buffaloes, 50 impalas, 300 zebras, and 100 elands.
Eland.
A spiral-horned African antelope. Okay. You see that right there, Associated Press. Allow. All right. And it says it's caused by El Nino type drought. I'm not putting what is an El Nino drought. An El Nino drought is a drought that occurs when El Nino climate phenomena causes, I believe it means little child or child in Spanish, Niño, region to experience less rainfall than normal. Phenomena causes a region to experience less rainfall than normal. El Nino is a natural climate phenomenon that occurs roughly every 3 to 5 years and can cause extreme weather changes around the world. Yeah. So they're suffering. And it's all scripture. It's all prophesied to happen. And as we see these things increase in frequency with other prophecies, other curses, then we know that the coming of the final test is very near, which is the MOTB, the implant. And then we know Yahweh's secure of his elect is near also. So Zimbabwe, NBC, Zimbabwe declares drought disaster, the latest in the region where El Nino has left millions hungry. This is earlier in the year. This is April. So it's been going on for a while. Zimbabwe declares a state of disaster Wednesday over devastating drought that's sweeping across much of southern Africa, with the country's president saying it needs $2 billion for humanitarian assistance. And I believe Russia gave 25,000 tons, as I read earlier, to one of those African countries. All right. So I originally got it from RT. So we got this video here from Freedom News Square.
Zimbabwe and Namibia will kill scores of elephants to feed people facing drought. In southern Africa, Zimbabwe and Namibia have announced plans to slaughter hundreds of wild animals, including elephants, to combat hunger in drought-stricken regions. Zimbabwe will allow the culling of 200 elephants, distributing the meat to affected communities. Namibia is culling 723 animals, including 83 elephants, 300 zebras, and 60 buffaloes. Officials say rising temperatures and severe drought, worsened by the El Niño phenomenon, have pushed wildlife populations beyond the land's capacity. Conservationists are raising concerns, but experts say the measures may be necessary to address both food security and wildlife management. Both countries emphasize using natural resources for citizens' benefit. This decision comes as elephant populations outstrip the capacity of parks like Zimbabwe's Hwange, where there are over 45 zoos.
No, some of those animals are actually lawful to eat, but elephant is not lawful to eat. I believe those bulls were lawful to eat. I believe giraffes are lawful to eat. So there are some animals that we'll be eating that are lawful.
Or zeroed elephants, triple the sustainable number. That's all for now on this critical wildlife and conservation issue in southern Africa. We'll continue to monitor the situation and bring you updates as these countries balance environmental conservation with the urgent needs of their people.
And this next one is first post article. First post video saying it's pretty much the same thing.
Shifting focus to Namibia, facing a severe drought, the southern African country is planning to cull wild animals to feed its hungry population. Namibia is planning to cull over 700 wild animals, including 83 elephants, and to distribute the meat to people struggling to feed themselves. Apart from elephants, Namibia will also cull 30 hippos, 60 buffaloes, 50 impala, 100 blue wildebeest, and 300 zebras and 100 eland. Now, Namibia's Environment Ministry says that the cull will take place in parks and communal areas where officials believe animal numbers exceed the available grazing land and water supplies. The meat will be then distributed to the vulnerable communities. Now, the southern African nation is facing its worst drought in decades. The United Nations says that Namibia last month had exhausted 84% of its food reserves. Nearly half of the population is expected to experience high levels of food insecurity in the coming months. Namibia's Environment Ministry says that the drought has seen an increase in human-wildlife conflict, and the culling will take place in areas with high levels of friction, particularly with elephants. Southern Africa is home to one of the largest elephant populations worldwide. More than 200,000 elephants are estimated to live in conservation areas spread over 5 southern African countries: Zimbabwe, Zambia, Botswana, Angola, and Namibia. As per reports, 157 animals have already been hunted by professional hunters and companies contracted by the government, yielding more than 56,000 kilograms of meat. The government says that this exercise is necessary and is in line with Namibia's constitutional mandate, where the country's natural resources are used for the benefit of Namibian citizens. Animal rights activists have, however, raised concerns about the culling.
All right, so it's already within their law to use their own, environment to sustain their lives. So that's should be already should already know that. All right. Animal rights activists, they're hungry. They need to eat. They can kill the lawful animals and not, but they're mainly heathens. They're not Israelites for the main part. You have Israelites within those countries, but those are mainly, Hamite countries. So they'll eat, any type of meat, any type of seafood. They don't have, Leviticus the 11th chapter to guide them. All right, and they're suffering. All right, they're under the curses. All right, that Yahweh told us about. It says here, Mark 13:8, for nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be earthquakes in diverse places. These are curses and prophecies. And there shall be famines and troubles. Let's look up troubles. This is G50:16. We got Tarke, disturbance, commotion, a tumult, sedition. So some disturbance. All right, sedition. So some type of movement, something, interruption of peaceful conditions. Here we go. A state of confused noise, disturbance. All right, so we know these things are coming to pass. It's directly in line with the Yahweh's curse / prophecy. So I'll leave a few of these links in the description box. Hope you edified. Shalom.